So this is a video I didn't think I would be making, but it's something I've been thinking about for a little while. I've decided to cut off my dreadlocks. So it's not something that I've come to a conclusion about lightly. I think at this point I've had my dreads for 3 years or maybe 4 years. When I first had them, like for the first year or 2 years, I was doing dreadlock videos, and I think a lot of people, you guys probably follow me because of my dreadlock videos, because they get a lot of attention. But the point I am at now, where I want to cut them off, is actually the point where I am most happy with them, and the way they look and the way that they're settled in. But I think it's time for them to go, and so I am going to talk about my reasons. I think partly just to hear myself say them out loud. It's something I've been talking to my friends about, been talking to my husband about, but I wanted to hear myself say them out loud. So the main reason that I dreaded my hair was because I wanted to have long hair. My hair, I used to dye it pink, like a magenta-y pink, and it wouldn't grow past armpit kind of length. And I wanted to have very long hair, and I figured if I dread it, I'll be able to have long hair. Now, as my dreads have got longer, they are getting heavier and bigger and more in the way. And I'm not really happy with the length that they are now. I'd like them to be longer, maybe a quarter as long again. So I figure they're going to be a quarter as heavy again. And at the moment they are quite heavy. I obviously have a job where I'm looking down a lot of the time, and I'm quite conscious of the pressure that puts on my neck and my back, because when I wear them down, they're very comfortable and I love the way they look, but that's not really practical for tattooing because they are perfect length to dangle in stuff and get in the way. So I'm really, really happy with the way that my dreadlocks look, but it's more about the practical aspects of them. The other thing that I find a pain is they get in the way when I'm doing yoga, because when I tie them all up on my head, it's like a big loaf of bread, which looks amazing, but it does get in the way. Likewise, I can't wear normal sized hoods. I have to tuck all my hair down the back of my neck. It would be cool to be able to wear normal sized hoods. They just kind of get in the way. And if, like I was saying, if I get them the length that I finally want them, they're going to be even more in the way. I think if I lived in a country where it was a bit sunnier and drier, it would be different, but I live in England and it's quite rainy. One reason for cutting my dreadlocks off that just struck me as I was walking home to make this video is I put my dreadlocks in, or I dreaded my hair, however I seem to refer to them, ends up really pissing someone off. So I'm sure someone will leave me a comment saying that I've used the wrong turn of phrase, but use your imagination. When I put my dreadlocks in was a really sad time in my life, and I think I did it because it was aspirational, or it was a goal, it was something to look forward to. I'd had experience from having my first set of dreadlocks in my 20s, which I'd kind of messed up by having them professionally installed with lots of wax, so they didn't last very long before I ended up, I think I had them for a year. I decided to take them out. So I knew going into it that for my hair to lock up without using any products was probably going to take a year. I was going to have shitty looking hair for a year. And I think the idea of that at that time was appealing to me because I was so sad, and being able to, I think just the thought of having something a year away in the future that I could look forward to or that would be good. I don't think I did it on purpose, but I think that's the reason why I dreaded my hair, was because I just needed something to look forward to. My life is very different now, and I am really, really happy, and definitely not in the same mindset as where I was when I locked my hair. And people do talk about dreadlocks, about how they are a journey, because they teach you to be patient, and they teach you that things will just happen in their own time, and you just have to kind of enjoy the process. And without sounding too philosophical, I think part of the process for me and my journey might be cutting them off. I think they've served their purpose. And the way I see it, they kind of were my little journey towards happiness, and I get to finish the story of my dreadlocks being really happy and being in a good place and being very content and feeling excited about the present instead of trying to set tasks that would keep me focused on the future. So my plan for getting rid of my dreads is to... Sorry, I wasn't sure if the phone was going to wobble. My plan for getting rid of my dreads is to cut them off reasonably short and then to unpick them so that I will have some hair left so that I can trim it into a bob. I recently cut my friend Jenny's hair and I was so happy with how it turned out. She looked so cute. We trimmed out a bunch of the dreads in the back of her hair and gave her a bob, and she looked so sweet. And you know when you just think, oh, I think I might like to do that too. I don't know whether that just like sparked something in my little brain. But that is the plan. So I am going to film it a little bit. I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm just going to kind of go for it. And I guess I will check in with you guys again once they're all out and see what I've got left. So it's been a week now since I took my dreads out, and you can see that I have normal hair again. It took a good few days for it to go back to the texture of like hair because it was very crinkly. I was actually at a wedding yesterday and my hair looked really nice. So I'm going to insert a little video here of my hair looking cute because right now it's post-wedding, needs a wash, full of glitter and stuff.
What?
I'm just documenting my hair.
I know.
So taking them out, all in all, took about 2 days, I would say. 2 days with the help of my friend Hannah. The texture that my hair is, it's neither curly nor straight, but it dreads very easily, which is part of the reason why I ended up getting dreads in the first place, because it's something my hair naturally likes to do. So getting them out was actually really difficult because it's just in my hair's nature to dread up like that. But we did get them out eventually. My hair was very crinkly and crisscrossy from where it had been squidged into the dreads. And so I used like hair masks. I made a silk head wrap thing out of an old silk sari that I had, which I wear to sleep in, which helped like my hair, like the natural oils get back into it and go back to being a nice texture. And now I think this is pretty much the texture that my hair is going to be. I haven't actually had normal hair since I was about 12. I was trying to work it out because ever since I was 12 I've always dyed it, or I've had it in dreads or braids or done something to it. So I've never really known what my real hair texture was, and it turns out it's this. So it's neither curly nor straight, and yeah, I really like it. So the first thing I did when I'd finished taking out all my dreadlocks was go straight into a headstand, because that's something I'd really missed. It's not something I ever really talk about on YouTube, but I do a lot of yoga, and one of the big reasons for me wanting to take my dreads out was where they were really getting in the way when I was doing my yoga, because you tend to tie them all up into a big thing, either on the top of your head, which means you can't do headstands, or on the back of your head, which means you can't lie flat or do anything that involves putting your head on the ground. So it's very cool to have a normal sized head again and to just be able to do stuff freely. It's quite strange being without my dreads because I both miss them and don't miss them. I really miss the way that they looked. I really loved having my dreadlocks and I really enjoyed the little journey that it took me on, but I definitely don't miss all the other stuff associated with them, the kind of lifestyle that comes along with them. You guys can probably tell from my accent that I am British, and just as we are approaching autumn winter over here in England, I think was a big spur on for me to take them out, because it's always quite damp and drying them is hard, and you know, when you're walking the dog or going for a run, they get in the way and they get wet and then you have to dry them, which is something I'm very conscious of. So looks wise, I really do miss them. And sort of upkeep wise, I really think I'm going to miss them because they're so easy, but all the other stuff associated with them, I don't think I'm going to miss so much. So I did make a video a couple of months ago where I cut off my dreads and made a fringe, and in the video I talk about finding a bit of soap residue build up in the core of a couple of my dreads. When I took my dreads out, I found that the ones in the back, there was almost nothing in them. They were just quite dry. Every now and again I'd find a little bit of lint from a pillow or a bit of glitter from when I'd been to a party or something. The ones where I did find there was a little bit of product buildup was on the front here where I've been shampooing my fringe. It was only a tiny little bit. And after I'd finished making my little video where I was talking about my sort of pros and cons, the reason for and for not taking out my dreadlocks, one of the things I didn't mention, I think because it's so obvious to me and I kind of didn't think to say it out loud, was I'm kind of glad to get away from the dreadlocks because people so associate it with it being part of your personality. So I don't know what it is about them. Maybe it's because they are so distinctive and like socially they have so many connotations about them, but people think they know all about your personality just based on your hairstyle and what your hair looks like. And maybe for some people that's true, but it certainly wasn't for me. And I know I did find it tiring being tied in with this sort of hippy dippy, she must smoke pot, she must be dirty or smelly, because I was definitely not a smelly, dirty, pot-smoking, dreadlocked person. It just happened to be a style of hair that was on my head, and it didn't really have any roots in my personality or anything. For me, those two things are very distinct, so I always found it kind of funny. I get a lot of comments on my videos about my dreadlocks, and people who think they know me or they must know all about what I'm like as a person just based on a couple of YouTube videos and a hairstyle that I happen to have. So I think that's something that I won't miss. So it's hard to think of a way to end this video, and I thought I would end it with a semi-poignant thought that I had this week, is that when I talk about, or when one talks about their dreadlocks, you tend to refer to them as them or they, like they're little people or little characters living on your head that you get to know. Whereas now, when I talk about my hair, I talk about it as it. And I think that's quite a funny and interesting distinction to make, because when you do have dreadlocks, you go on a real journey with them and they become like little characters or little friends in your life. You know, you'll have favorite ones, and I know personally there's ones that I miss more than others, ones that had more of a distinctive like flavor to me, ones that I'll kind of remember. Yes, I have kept a couple of my dreadlocks, and some of my friends have received them as gifts and some of my friends who I know wouldn't like them have also received them as gifts, because it delights me to give them something that I think they won't like very much. But yeah, so I think that's kind of funny. So I guess that is the end of my video. That is the end of my dreadlock journey. I hope you have enjoyed this little video. It was kind of fun to like film the whole process. I would say leave me a comment, but you guys never seem to be shy to leave me comments. So I'm sure I'll catch up with you on the comment section. In the comment section. As always, if you want to see more of my tattoo work, you can check me out on Instagram. My name there is @Holly_Astral, or you can check out more of my tattooing videos here on my YouTube. Thank you for watching. Bye.